Mm. Ayan, okay. So, um, ano to, tawag nito, papayaw natin. Ang pinaka-important dito sa lecture natin is at least magkaroon kayo ng idea ano yung difference ng different study designs and saan siya mas magandang gawin or gamitin. Okay, anong klaseng study mas applicable yung isang study design and ano yung mga possible advantages and disadvantages ng certain na study design. And nakadepende kasi sa study design kung anong statistical analysis ang usually na ginagamit natin. Okay, once na alam niyo kung anong study design, magkakaroon kayo ng idea ano yung best na statistical analysis or tugmang statistical analysis ang kailangan nating gawin. Okay? So, ito very common na classification ng study design. It's either quantitative, qualitative, or mix. So, from the term itself, 'di ba? So, qualitative focuses more on the qualitative data. Anong mga example niyan? Yan yung mga data na hindi natin kailangan ng numerical values. Okay? So, commonly, ginagamit siya sa mga phenomenological study designs or sa ibang klase ng ng tawag nito, ibang klaseng study ng case control, ay tawag nito, ng cross-sectional. Okay? So, pero very common yan is mga narrative. Okay? So, ganong klase mga study. Then, we have the quantitative. Quantitative, it deals with quantitative data or data with numerical values. So, ang kagandahan nito, mas madali kasi, mas madaling maintindihan yung mga study designs na meron kang exact na quantitative values kasi i-interpret mo lang siya as is. Not unlike with qualitative studies na kailangan mo munang gumawa ng mga thematic analysis para mas mapagsama-sama yung mga data na normally hindi naman sila pwedeng pagsamahin. Then we have the mix. Ito yung mga klase ng data that requires both qualitative and quantitative data. Ang kagandahan dito, nagkakaroon ka ng numerical perspective and at the same time, nagkakaroon ng in-depth um, knowledge with regards sa mga data kasi mas nagkakaroon ka, mas naiintindihan mo ng mabuti in terms of qualitative perspective yung mga data na kinukuha natin, na pagsasama natin sila. Yan. Ang very common naman na research type, this is for the clinical epidemiology. Okay, ito na yung pinakaalam natin na na study designs. We have the case report, case series, cross-sectional, cohort, and experimental study designs. So ito yung very common na ginagawa natin. Lalo na for clinical epidemiology, which is usually ganyan yung mga topic na ganyan yung mga klase ng study designs na ginagawa ng mga doctors. So, how do we select research design? So, una, kailangan nyo munang malaman ano ba yung purpose and goals ng research ninyo. Okay? 'Di ba? Na-set na ninyo, meron na kayong research question. Okay? So, kailangan nyo mag-set ng sarili ninyong objective, general objective and specific objectives. Okay? Then, na-check na rin ninyo based on the review of related literature, titingin kayo ngayon, ano ba yung best study design na pwedeng gamitin? Okay? So, ano yung mga na-conduct na dati? Siyempre, kung kadalasan ng mga study designs na gawa is cross-sectional, gusto naman natin is higher form of study design, which is pwedeng case control, pwedeng cohort, pwedeng experimental. Okay? Kasi ayaw naman natin na paulit-ulit na lang na cross-sectional or parang nagdo-duplicate na lang tayo ng study. Pero kung insufficient pa, based on your RRL, may na-identify kayo ng mga gaps na hindi pa naman kailangang i-increase yung study design, then maintain lang kayo dun sa sa cross-sectional. Pero kung sobrang dami ng study about cross-sectional, kailangan ng higher form ng ng study, then you may uh, choose to change yung study design. So higher form of study design na siya. May hierarchy kasi siya, 'di ba? Sa tawag nito sa pyramid, evidence pyramid, may mga certain level ng higher form of study design. Ano yung pinakatuktok sa sa hierarchy of evidence?
Meta-analysis.
Okay, very good. Systematic review and meta-analysis. Pero sa primary study design, anong nasa pinakatuktok?
Randomized
RC.
control trial.
Randomized
Control
control
trial.
or RCT. Okay, so lagi natin tatandaan, RCT ang gold standard ng study design. Bakit siya ang gold standard? Kasi again, siya nakokontrol natin, minimize natin yung bias, and if proper yung number ng sample size, then yung information or data na nakuha natin from RCT, it supersedes, ibig sabihin, mas higit siya compare sa mga findings na nagawa compare sa mga ibang study design. Kailan lang nagiging mas important si systematic review and meta-analysis? Systematic review and meta-analysis, these are secondary study design. Anong ibig sabihin nun? They make use of secondary data. Ang problem with secondary data, hindi natin control, okay, yung other variables. So mataas pa rin yung risk of bias kahit na sabihin natin systematic review and meta-analysis. Saan lang niya natatalo yung RCT? Natatalo lang niya sa number of sample size. Okay? So the higher the sample size, ibig sabihin nun, higher yung power. Higher yung power, ibig sabihin nun, mas mataas yung generalizability ng tawag nito ng data nila. Mas applicable siya for the general population. But then again, yung bias hindi natin matatanggal. Kaya ang gold standard pa rin is RCT. Nakuha, nasusundan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so clear tayo dun para at least alam ninyo. Kasi ang daming nalilito dun sa hierarchy of pyramid. Akala nila pinakamataas na si systematic review and meta-analysis. In terms of power, yes. Pero in terms of gold standard, RCT pa rin ang pinaka-best na study design. Step 3, determine the type you need for research. Okay? So ano bang type na gusto ninyo? Primary data, secondary data. Pag primary data, again, nandyan yung cross-sectional hanggang RCT. Secondary data, nandyan systematic review, meta-analysis. Then again, qualitative versus quantitative. Step 4, determine the data collection techniques. Okay? Ano ba yung methods ninyo of collecting data? Through survey ba? Through interview? Through experiment? Experimental ba yung gagawin ninyo? Or by gathering secondary data? Data na nagawa na ng ibang tao. Step 5, determine the data analysis to be used. Okay? So, simple lang yan. Qualitative data analysis, pinaka-common, thematic analysis. Quantitative data analysis, nandyan yung descriptive statistics, nandyan yung inferential statistics. Okay? For, ano ba siya? Correlation ba siya? For association? Okay? So, different workshop yung gagawin natin doon. Okay? So far clear kayo dun sa 5 steps na selecting ng research design.
Yes po, Doc. Okay naman po, Doc.
Okay, so clear naman. Ito, sorry, pahapyaw na lang kasi ah hindi naman na ninyo kailangan and hindi naman lumalabas sa mga exam to. Nice to know na lang siya. Okay, for qualitative research, again, this is used for exploring and understanding the meaning of individual or groups ascribed to social or human problem. It involves emerging questions, procedure, and data typically collected in participant setting. So, ang aim palagi ng qualitative research, kaya ito yung nasa first part ng conduction ng mga research, is to develop theories and understanding. Okay? Usually observational to. Okay? So, nagde-develop pa lang tayo ng mga hypothesis. Okay? We have different types of qualitative research. Again, nice to know na lang. Usually, ginagamit to sa mga undergrad. Lalo na kung ang undergrad ninyo is social studies. We have ethnography, grounded theory, case studies, phenomenological research, and narrative research. Okay. So, ethnography. Para madali lang natin matandaan yung ethnography. Ito, pinag-aaralan lang natin dito is it exhibits lived realities encountered by a cultural group. Okay? So, studies of an intact cultural group in a natural setting over prolonged period of time. Once na nagpunta kayo sa community, best example nito is yung mga study about COPC. Okay? So, nag-immersion kayo, nagpunta kayo sa community, gusto nyo pag-aralan yung community. Okay? So, yung study na yon, ethnography. Okay? Example, health-seeking behavior of ITAS, medical practices of Badjao. Okay? So, kung ano lang yung na-observe ninyo, and usually qualitative to. Okay? Paano ba sila, anong ginagawa nila pag may lagnat? Anong ginagawa nila pag may ubosipon? Okay? Nag-observe lang kayo. Okay? Walang formal na questionnaire, walang formal na data collection tool. Okay? Based on your observation lang yung data collection. Grounded theory naman, this focus on general abstract theory of process, action, or interaction grounded derived from views of participants. So this is the study of concept. Usually, ginagamit to generate theory from the data. Okay? Anong example niyan? Exploring the mental health of family members with caregiver fatigue. Okay? Or identifying factors that characterize the enjoyment experience of people with autism. Kaya siya grounded theory. Gumagawa tayo, we identify the concept. Okay? Bakit kaya yung mga people with autism, lagi silang nakangiti? Okay? Ano yung ibig sabihin ng ngiti na yon? Okay? So, magde-derive ngayon tayo ng possible hypothesis. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng ngiti ng mga persons with autism? Okay? So, ganun lang siya, grounded theory. Then, case studies. So, simple lang din to. Explores in-depth program, event, activity process on one or more individuals. Anong best example nito? Case report, case series. Case report, 1 to 5 cases. Case series, more than 5 na similar cases. Saan nag-boom yung yung mga case report, case series during the time of COVID-19 pandemic? Kung hindi pa alam ano ba talaga yung possible manifestation ng COVID-19, ano ba yung possible na na prolong tawag na ito, prolonged symptoms ng mga patient with long COVID. Okay, so nagkakaroon ng mga case report, case series. Kung may mga bagong intervention, paggamit ng ivermectin, paggamit ng high-dose steroids. Okay, so ginagawa niya ng mga studies. Then we have the phenomenological research. So it identified the essence of human experience about phenomenon described by participants. So, kaya siya phenomenological, important dito, is understanding the lived experiences. Okay? Ano yung experience, actual experience ng mga participants? Okay? So, usually, pag nagko-conduct tayo ng phenomenological research, 5 to 20 na participants lang siya, and we identify ano yung mga actual experience nila. Okay? Example, understanding burnout among sandwich generation. Sino nakakaalam ng sandwich generation?
Ito ba
Ngayong,
yung may elderly parents at young children?
okay, very good. Kaya sandwich generation kasi siya yung primary caregiver ng parents pati ng children niya. So, nasa sandwich siya. Okay, understanding caregiver fatigue of caregivers for terminally ill patient. Okay? So, kamusta naman yung mga coping mechanism ng mga caregivers? Okay? Nagki-caregiver fatigue ba sila? Okay? Ano ba sila? Asawa, anak, kapatid? Okay? Paano nila hina-handle yung caregiver fatigue? Then, experience of family with complicated bereavement. Okay? Bakit may mga certain family members na sobrang hirap maka-let go? Okay? Or tawag neto, sobrang hindi matanggap yung pagkamatay ng family member. Okay? So, based on their experience, ano yung mga reasons doon? Okay, yun yung phenomenological research. And last, narrative research. This focus on studying a single person. Pag narrative, ninanarrate lang yung story ng isang tao. Okay, gathering data through collection of stories that are used to construct a narrative about individual experience and meaning attributed to them. Okay, for example, um, pwedeng gawa ng narrative research yung currently passed na na number 1 sa PLE. Alam ba ninyo yun? Yung story nung nung number
Yes.
1 sa sa
Yung parang
PLE.
na-withhold pa yung name niya.
Si
Oo,
Name
ano,
Withheld, di ba? Okay. So yan, pwedeng narrative research yun. Story niya na na pang third take, second take, hindi siya tumuloy. Tapos na withheld, akala niya hindi siya nakapasa. Tapos ngayon siya pala yung may pinakamataas na na score sa PLE since 1970 plus. Okay. So parang ganon. Okay. Another example is study of experience of student with Tourette syndrome who graduated with honors. Ano ba yung Tourette syndrome?
Ito sir, Doc, yung may sinasabi ng mga expletives na hindi sinasadya.
Okay. Ito yung mga may involuntary movement or words na nasasabi. Okay. So, ganon. Ganon lang kaya yung narrative research. Story about single person. Okay. Yan. So, pwede kayong gumawa ng mga ganyan. Pero more of this is social studies. Okay. Pero pwede naman kung may interesting case kayo na gusto niyo sundan, pwede naman. So, for my question about qualitative research,
Wala naman po, Doc.
wala naman. So, naintindihan naman yung mga The best way to analyze or to combine yung gumawa ng discussion is by making a thematic analysis. Gagawa kayo ng mga teams, okay? So, for example, dun sa bigay na tayo sa narrative research, yun dun sa recently passed na na number 1 sa sa board exam. So, pwedeng first thematic, ano yung mga challenges niya? Gaano katagal siya nagmedicine? Okay? Ano yung mga ginawa niya? Okay? Ano yung mga naramdaman niya nung feeling niya hindi siya pumasa nitong last na naman? Okay? So, may mga thematic analysis na pwede kayong gawin. You combine or gumawa kayo ng mga teams na kung saan pwede niyong i-discuss yung certain part of the data na gather ninyo. Okay? For health-seeking behavior, okay? So, pwede niyong tingnan ano ba yung mga health-seeking behavior ng certain ethnic group. Okay? So, bakit ganun yung paniniwala nila? Ano yung mga paniniwala nila? Okay? Ano yung mga misperception and misconception nila? Parang ganon, okay? So, purely qualitative lang siya. For quantitative research naman, again, it makes use of numerical data. Okay, so we have types of quantitative. We have the experimental and non-experimental. So experimental, anything that makes use of, tawag nito, nagko-compare tayo, intervention, and we try to manipulate. Pag sinabi natin experimental research, we try to manipulate the variables. Anong ibig sabihin ng manipulate the variables? Dinodoktor ba natin? Hindi. So, ang ibig sabihin nun, as much as possible, pwede nating malimit yung effect ng isang variable sa outcome ng study natin. So, under the non-experimental, or usually, ito yung tinatawag na observational. So, we have cross-sectional study design, case control, and cohort studies. For the experimental, we have RCT, quasi-experimental, and crossover study. Okay, so nice to know na lang to. Difference between quali and quanti. So sa quantitative, ang gusto natin ay nakakapag-construct tayo ng statistical model in an attempt to explain what is observed. Qualitative, so wala. We describe lang siya. Descriptive lang siya at most. Okay? Sa quantitative, alam ng research kung ano yung hinahanap niya. Qualitative, tawag nito, based kung kung paano magpo-progress yung study. Ino-observe niya, kino-collect niya yung data based on the progress or kung paano yung takbo ng study. So, quantitative, recommended at the latter phases of research project kasi kino-confirm natin yung mga hypothesis natin. Qualitative, usually at the earlier phases kasi ito yung development ng mga theories and hypotheses. Okay, so quantitative, all aspects are carefully designed before data is collected. So alam ninyo ano yung mga statistical tool na gagamitin natin. Alam ninyo, meron kayong questionnaire. Okay, alam ninyo paano nyo ipepresent yung data. Sa qualitative, design emerges as study unfolds. So wala siyang fix na questionnaire or wala siyang fix na data collection form. Again, numbers, qualitative, more of words and object. Quantitative, more objective. Qualitative, more subjective. Okay, quantitative data are more efficient. Qualitative data are more rich, time-consuming, and less able to be generalized. Yan. So mixed method, it's just the combination of quali and quantitative. Collects both quantitative and qualitative data so that the overall strength of the study is increased compared to either quali or quantitative research alone. Ayan. So, punta na ngayon tayo sa epidemiological study design. So, epidemiological study design or clinical epidemiology, study designs used in clinical research. So, as a doctor, as a resident, so most ng mga research natin are clinical research. Okay, used to define disease and health-related outcomes, quantify disease occurrence, define factors related to disease, and explore and monitor disease rates and their relationship in the population. So ito yung traditional, individual, case report, case series, ecological. Usually, hindi na tayo gumagawa ng ecological or correlational. Cross-sectional, case control, cohort intervention. Yung ecological kasi kaya hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit kasi dahil sa ecological fallacy. Mamaya i-discuss natin yan. For the newer classification, we have now the primary study science. Similar pa rin. Parehas pa rin sila. Pero gumawa lang ng classification. Now we have the under primary study design, we have descriptive and analytic. And we have the secondary study design. Under analytic study design, we have observational and experimental. Okay? So, sige, nice to know lang yan. Descriptive. Ibig sabihin ng descriptive study design, describe. Dinay-describe lang niya. Okay? Cause and effect relationship is not being answered by this design. So, the importance of this design is that it can be sourced to generate hypotheses that can serve as topic for future research using more complicated designs. Example ng descriptive, we have case report, case series, ecological, and cross-sectional study design. So alam naman natin case report, ginagawa natin yan. Family case, pwede siyang example ng case report. Okay? So dapat something interesting, pwedeng rare presentation of common disease, newly documented sequelae of the disease. Clinical importance, ano yung clinical importance nung gusto nating i-present na case report? Pwedeng bagong intervention, new innovation in diagnosis and management, unexpected link between disease and newly documented adverse event. For us, kaya tayo may clinical case, ano yung something na ginagawa natin, biopsychosocial approach na ginagawa natin sa mga patient natin. And yung tatak family medicine, which is the PFC matrix, so very important dapat na maipakita natin. Okay? Na ano ba yung PFC matrix? Paano natin ginagamit yung PFC matrix sa mga patient natin kahit na simple lang yung sakit niya? Kasi tayo lang yung sa Philippines lang nag-originate ang PFC matrix. Okay? So, which is ginagaya na ngayon siya or gusto siyang i-adapt ng other family medicine training program sa ibang bansa. Kaya kung meron kayong mga clinical case or case report, so madali siyang matatanggap sa sa international or sa WONCA, lalo na kung sasamahan niyo ng PFC matrix. Case series again, these are group of patient with similar diagnosis, more than 5 cases. Case report, 1 to 5 cases. Yan. So advantages of case report, useful for hypothesis generation. Informative for very rare disease with few established risk factors. Kung bago yung sakit, okay, kung may bagong intervention, kung may bagong diagnostic test, pwedeng gamitin yung case report. Disadvantage, again, cannot study cause and effect relationship. Ang goal lang ng case report and case series is to make hypothesis. Okay? Gagawa kayo ng hypothesis which is pwede ninyong i-test with higher form of study design. Okay? Cannot assess the disease frequency. Ano ba yung disease frequency? Hindi siya pwedeng magamit for prevalence or incidence. So far clear sa case report and case series?
Yes, po, sir, clean naman po.
Okay, sige. Next is ecological study. So usually, ito hindi na masyadong ginagamit or correlational study design. Data are analyzed at population or group level. So it is used to measure prevalence and incidence of disease when disease is rare. Okay? So to study the relationship between population level exposure and risk factors and disease. So contextual effect of risk factors on the population. Kaya hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit kasi the best study design for incidence ay cohort study. And the best study design for prevalence ay cross-sectional study design. And yung ecological study often results sa ecological fallacy. Saan yung tinatawag na ecological fallacy? So ecological fallacy is the failure in reasoning that arises when an inference is made about individual based on aggregate data for group. So for example, ecological fallacy in concluding that people with high income are at risk for high risk for coronary artery disease. Samples taken in a private hospital. Okay? Or for example, Yung mga nauuso dati, call center. Pag call center ka, ano ang common na sakit mo?
Hypertension.
Hypertension, ano pa?
Diabetes.
STI.
STI.
STI, very good. So, na-attach yung STI sa mga call center agent. Okay? So, ecological fallacy yun. Okay? So, parang nagkakaroon ng pangit na label na once na call center agent ka, at risk ka for STI. Same din, bakit kaya yung mga sa private hospital, for example, TMC, bakit ang taas kaya ng cases ng mga bypass surgery, ng mga tawag nito, ang daming mga may sakit sa puso na tawag nito pag tinignan yung um economic socio-economic status is mga mga tawag nito high income earners. Kasi nasa context tayo ng private hospital. Wala namang low income earner ang makakapunta or makakapagpagawa ng bypass surgery sa isang tawag nito premier na private hospital. Okay? So doon din nagkakaroon ng ecological fallacy. Kaya hindi na masyadong ginagamit yung ecological study. So it's either mag-cross-sectional ka na lang or mag-cohort study, lalo na kung gusto lang natin malaman is prevalence or incidence. Then we have analytical study design. Again, yung descriptive study designs, ang goal lang niya is to describe. Okay? So hanggang descriptive statistics lang tayo. Okay? For analytical study design, aim is to gain knowledge on quality and amount of influence that determinants have on occurrence of the disease. It makes use of group comparisons. Okay? It's either observational or experimental. So, observational study design, outcome can be a development of disease or cure of a disease, and cause can be a risk factor such as genetic predisposition, an environmental exposure, or unhealthy behavior like smoking, sedentary lifestyle. So sa observational, there is no manipulation of exposure or risk factors of subject to the cause, but only observe their presence or absence. Okay, so walang manipulation ng mga variables sa observational. Ino-observe natin siya as is. Okay? So we have cross-sectional study design, case control, and cohort study. Si cross-sectional, since tinanggal na natin si ecological study, hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit, special si cross-sectional study design. Si cross-sectional study design, siya lang yung study design na pwedeng maging descriptive or pwedeng maging observational study design or analytical study design. Okay? Balik. Since si cross-sectional lang ang either descriptive or analytical, so once na gumawa tayo ng study ng cross-sectional study design, kailangan dapat define anong cross-sectional study design yung ginagawa natin. Is it descriptive study design, descriptive cross-sectional study design, or analytical cross-sectional study design? Kung purely descriptive lang, wala tayong other statistical analysis na gagamitin, then descriptive cross-sectional study design. Pero kung gagamit tayo ng mga inferential statistics, okay, so gagamit tayo ng mga p-value to determine kung statistically significant ba, then analytical cross-sectional study design siya. Clear? Nasusundan ba?
Yes po, sir. Clear na po sa akin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So cross-sectional, kaya siya tinawag na cross-sectional kasi this is the snapshot of the population. Anong ibig sabihin ng snapshot? Yung pag-collect natin ng data, one time lang siya. Okay? So survey exposures and disease status at single point in time or cross-section of the population. Study a sample that represents a population and its result can be generalized to the whole population. So single, walang follow-up. It measures prevalence, not incidence. Ang incidence kasi, kailangan dapat may follow-up. Kaya ang best study design for prevalence is cross-sectional study design. The best study for incidence ay cohort design. Okay? So used to learn more about disease and explore its factors, socioeconomic characteristic, knowledge, attitude, beliefs, or events that occur in the population. Okay? So for cross-sectional study design, dito pwede tayong mag-aral ng madaming mga variables, madaming mga factors. Okay? Na ilalagay natin sa questionnaire natin. Okay? Kasi snapshot lang siya eh. Okay? Makikita natin habang tumataas yung level ng study design, mas umuunti yung mga variables na tinitignan natin. Mas nagiging simple. So this is the simplest form of observational study. So no attempt to establish temporal relationship between cause and effect. Okay? So kaya palaging tinatanong, pag sinasabing study association of factors with the development of certain disease, ano ba yung association na yan? Cause and effect ba? Or possible relationship lang? Lalo na kung cross-sectional study design. Kasi wala tayong temporal component or time component. So hindi natin alam sino yung nauna. Si variable A ba o si variable B? Sino yung nag-cause sa kanya? Sino yung cause and effect? Nag-develop ba si B, variable B dahil kay variable A or vice versa? So hindi natin yan masasabi. Ang masasabi lang natin sa cross-sectional study design, baka may possible association or closely associated itong dalawang variable na to sa bawat isa. Pero kung sino yung nag-cause ng isa, hindi natin siya madidetermine. Nakukuha? Naintindihan?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay. So, uses survey, questionnaire, and interview. Yun yung mga pwede natin gamitin. So, often used to study conditions that are relatively frequent with long duration of expression. So, usually ginagamit natin cross-sectional for non-fatal and chronic diseases. So, not suitable for diseases with short duration, rare, and fatal disease. Okay? So, advantage, less time consuming kasi single point in time lang eh. Isang beses lang extraction mo ng data. Less expensive, provide more information kasi nga sobrang daming variables na pwede niyong pag-aralan. Describes the population well dahil dito na mas nagkakaroon ka ng idea, socioeconomic characteristics ng participants, other variables, other factors, and this is used for hypothesis generation. Okay, since nag-hypothesize tayo ng possible association between two variables. Again, hindi tayo makakapag-determine kung sino yung nag-cause ng isa or kung sino yung nauna sa dalawang variable. Okay? Pero yung possible association, pwede nating ma-derive. So, to determine kung talaga nga bang kung ano yung cause and effect, higher form of study design na yung pwede nating gamitin. Disadvantages, this is the weakest form of observational design because it can only measure prevalence. And again, hindi tayo makapag-identify ng cause and effect. Then temporal sequence of exposure and effect may be difficult or impossible to determine. Okay? Kaya as much as possible, may mga dati nag-present ng EBM na or may mga research na nagko-conduct na cross-sectional pero gumagamit ng odds ratio, nagiging questionable kasi siya. Kasi pag sinabi nating odds ratio, nag-determine na kayo ng cause and effect. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng odds ratio, the odds of occurring yung isang event ay dahil sa isang variable. So may mga other studied, siguro seniors kayo or sa sa TMC yata yon, na gumagamit ng odds ratio sa cross-sectional. As much as possible, ang odds ratio, earliest na pwede nating magamit yung odds ratio ay sa case control studies. Kasi yun yung unang study design na pwedeng gumamit ng cause and effect. Dito, through observation lang, association lang. Okay, clear?
Dok, sorry, paano ulit, Dok? So, pag kunyari, nalito lang ako ng konti, Dok. So, yung odds ratio, Dok, sa ano lang, ay sorry.
Ang earliest na magamit natin yung odds ratio ay sa case control study.
So hindi siya pwede, Dok, dito sa cross-sectional.
Kasi magiging questionable eh. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng odds? So yung odds ratio, this is an estimated risk,
Yes, Dok.
di ba? So ibig sabihin ng estimated risk, possible, pag sinabi ka ng risk factor or estimated risk, meron ka nang ina-assume muna na isang variable is the risk factor sa pag-develop ng isang outcome. Tama?
Okay, Dok. Tama, Dok.
So kung sa cross-sectional, hindi ka makapag-identify ng cause and effect. So sino ang ano mo doon? Sino ang risk factor mo doon?
Hmm. Okay, Dok. So, hindi nga. Okay, Dok. Thank you,
Diba?
Dok. Mas clear, Dok. Agree, agree.
Na ano ba? Na mas
Ready
naliwanag.
na ako. Oo, Dok. Lagi sa tong nalilito-lito ako, Dok. Thank you, Dok.
Okay. So, although may mga ibang study gumagamit ng odds ratio, kaya lang kasi questionable yung magiging outcome nun kasi hindi mo nga alam, wala kang specific na variable na masabi na ito yung mas nauna compare sa other. Okay? So nagiging iba yung tawag dun eh. Hindi siya odds ratio, nagiging prevalence ratio siya. Yun yung correct term sa paggamit ng ng parang odds ratio sa cross-sectional. So ano siya, prevalence ratio yung nangyayari. Yung prevalence, for example, may isang factor na gusto nating malaman, kunwari, sige, bigay ako ng example. Gusto nating malaman yung nag-aral kayo ng mga factors associated with compliance among hypertensive patient, compliance ng medication sa hypertension. Okay? So gusto nating malaman kung yung male or female ba ay mas compliant sa pag-inom ng hypertensive meds. So instead of odds ratio ang gagamitin natin, prevalence ratio ang gagamitin natin. Ibig sabihin nun, mas prevalent ang compliance among female compare sa compliance ng tawag nito, ng pag-inom ng gamot sa male. Nakukuha, dinedivide natin ngayon sila. Hindi natin sila kino-compare na yung odds na kung babae ka, mas mataas ang odds na compliant ka sa hypertensive medication kasi babae ka compare sa male. So, tinatanggal natin, ang ginagawa natin, ang discussion nun, pag babae, mas prevalent ang compliance sa meds compare sa male. So, you compute for the compliance, again, prevalence, di ba? Compute for the prevalence ng compliance among male compare sa female. Tapos nagiging prevalence ratio siya. Nakuha ba? Nasusundan?
Yes, Dok.
Okay.
Clear, Dok.
So
Clear, Dok.
yung term lang ng odds ratio, mali yung paggamit. So ang proper term doon is the prevalence ratio. Mako-compare niyo naman sino yung pag babae ka, mas compliant ka sa meds compare sa male. Parang ganun yung ibig sabihin. Pero hindi siya odds ratio. May question pa ba?
Doc, may question lang si Jel sa chat box, Doc. Parang, Doc, ano po difference ng descriptive cross-sectional and analytic/observational cross-sectional?
Okay, sige. So, pag descriptive, purely descriptive, ibig sabihin yan, gumagamit ka lang ng mean, median, mode, frequency, at saka proportion. Purely dinidescribe mo lang yung data. Wala kang comparison na ginagawa. Pag analytical cross-sectional study design, you try to compare two groups or you try to compare groups. Dito, lumalabas na yung mga inferential statistics. Okay? For example, tawag nito, meron bang significant difference for example, male versus female sa compliance sa medication? Okay? So, compliance sa medication, kung sinabi doon, there is significant difference between male and female, statistically significant difference between male and female in compliance sa hypertensive medication, ano na siya, analytical study design. Pero pag sinabi lang natin, 70% of female ay compliant sa hypertensive medication, 30% of male are compliant to hypertensive medication. Without comparison, hindi natin alam kung statistically significant or non-significant sila. Descriptive lang siya. Nakuha? Parang you describe as is, no comparison. Pag gumawa na kayo ng mga comparison studies, nagiging analytical siya. Nasagot ko ba yung ano?
Yes po, Doc. Thank you po.
Okay. Sige, so far clear na tayo sa ano? Sa cross-sectional.
Yes, Doc. Okay na po, Doc.
Okay. Ayan. So again, disadvantages, usually don't know when the disease occurred, can study rare disease and less useful in establishing causation. Wala tayong cause and effect. For case control study, ito na yung first study design na pwede tayong magkaroon ng causal relationship. Okay? Compares exposure in disease cases versus healthy control from the same population to find out what factors have contributed to the problem. Okay? When the two groups are investigated as to the presence or absence of hypothesized cause or risk factors for the outcome. So ito rin yung nakakalito pag nagbasa kayo ng mga ng mga research book. Okay? Makakakita kayo ng mga retrospective studies. Okay? Saan pa natin naririnig yung mga retrospective studies?
Retrospective cohort, Doc.
Saan kayo nakarinig
Cohort
ng
ba, Doc? Cohort. Oh.
cohort, di ba? So cohort, meron siyang prospective and retrospective. Tapos meron kayong makikita sa sa ibang mga study design or once na nagbasa kayo ng ibang mga journal, nakasulat doon retrospective study pero parang hindi naman siya cohort. Okay? So isang tawag din sa case control study is retrospective study pero ito ang true retrospective study. Bakit siya true retrospective study? Paano ba natin ginagawa yung case control study? First, we identify yung
May sakit na
yung outcome. Nagsisimula tayo sa outcome. 'Di ba? May sakit, walang sakit. Tapos, we look retrospectively what are the factors associated with the development of the disease or absence of disease. Nakuha? Ang difference naman sa retrospective cohort, nagsisimula pa rin tayo sa exposure. Retrospectively, hinahanap natin yung exposure versus non-exposure. Then, we observe forward in time kung nag-develop ba sila ng sakit or hindi. Sa case control study, nauna kasi yung sakit or yung outcome before yung mga factors associated with the outcome. Nakuha ba? Nasusundan?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So, selection of appropriate control. Kaya, di ba, ang first, pag nag-conduct kayo ng case control study, pinaka-important is the identification of the cases and the control. Okay? First, you need to identify what are your cases and what are your control group. Okay? So, it is an important prerequisite because the control group must be similar to the cases as possible except for the absence of the disease under study. Okay? So, pwede siyang disease, pwedeng hindi. Okay? Basta outcome yung tinitignan natin. So, this is the first approach to test causal hypothesis. Again, case control study, ito ang unang-unang study design na pwede na tayong mag-conduct ng cause and effect analysis. So, strength, less expensive and time-consuming. This is efficient for studying rare diseases and it allowed the study of several different etiological factors for one disease. Again, isa sa strength niya is no attrition. Why walang attrition? Kasi no follow-up. Not unlike with cohort study, may mga follow-up. So dito, hindi natin magiging problem yung tawag nito loss to follow-up. And ethical problems are minimal kasi no risk to the participants. Kasi usually nga, ano to, pag case control study, ano lang siya, tawag nito parang cross-sectional lang siya. Okay? So, ang tingin ko, ako personally, ang tingin ko sa case control study, this is a special kind of cross-sectional study design. Kasi, kung paano i-conduct yung cross-sectional study design, very similar sa case control study. Ano lang yung difference? Yung identification ng participants natin. Kasi nagsisimula tayo with the outcome, the cases, and the control. Then the rest is kaparehas na ng cross-sectional study design. Kaya nalilito rin yung iba. Ano bang study design to? Cross-sectional or case control? Case control. Pero once na identify yung cases and control, automatic case control na siya. Nauuna yung outcome compare sa mga variables. So limitation, selection of appropriate control group may be difficult, inefficient for evaluation of rare exposure, and difficult to establish temporal sequence. Again, limitation, determining exposure will often rely on memory. So often, leading to recall bias, cannot measure incidence, and may only estimate relative risk or odds ratio. Okay? So dito na tayo gumagamit ng odds ratio or tinatawag natin na estimated risk. Okay, saan tayo nakaka-compute na ng actual na na relative risk sa cohort at saka sa RCT. Sa case control, estimated risk lang tayo or we make use of odds ratio. So far may question sa sa case control.
Doc, may question lang si Mitch regarding dito, Doc. Para
Sige.
pasok daw po ba yung rare diseases or environmental related disease for case control?
Anong klaseng environmental related diseases? Kasi kung mga lung
Opo.
problem or
Opo.
tawag nito mga lung injury from environmental, baka common naman siya. Hindi ko lang sure Sige, ano
Yun nga
yung
po, Doc, dun po, although hindi naman ako mag-case control, para for ano lang, future reference, Doc. For example, mga mercury related na yun kasi yung mga common na nakikita kong ina-assess din, Doc. Kung pasok dun yun, yung for
okay,
case rare
saan
disease, Doc.
madalas nyo ina-identify yung mercury na na
Ah,
occupational hazard?
Sa mga mercury or lead, Doc, is sa mga mga communities living near coal-fired power plants or mga incinerator facilities, Doc.
Okay. So pag ganyan, baka hindi naman ang kailangan mo lang identify, for example, gusto mong malaman yung mga ganyan. First, identify mo muna. Ano ba yung pinaka-common na na manifestation ng lead or mercury poisoning or hazard? Ano bang pinaka-common na disease associated diyan?
Um,
Lung, diba?
Merong neurological, Doc.
Mental,
Opo,
neurological.
Doc.
So kung neurologic, pwede naman siya identify mo gaano ba ka-common yung mga workers na nagde-develop ng neurologic na na diseases. Kasi kung common siya, pwede naman 'yan identify ka doon sa sa work area. Sino yung nag-develop ng neurologic symptoms, sino yung hindi nag-develop ng neurologic symptoms. Then you identify yung mga variables na possible cause nun. Kung gusto niyong malaman yung ah, ting- kung associated ba talaga siya with with lead or mercury poisoning, then identify ninyo gaano ba kataas yung exposure, gaano kadalas yung exposure nila. So mako-compute niyo yung odds ratio.
Okay. Thank you po, Doc.
Pero yun, i-check niyo muna yung yung prevalence ng
Yes, po, Doc.
dun sa area. Gaano ba ka-prevalent yung development ng ng neuro cases. Kung onti lang naman, mahirapan kayo mag-conduct ng ng tawag nito ng case control.
Yes po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay. Kaya ang best diyan is cross-sectional tas prevalence. Gaano ba ka-prevalent yung development ng ng neurologic na na symptoms among workers dun sa isang area, incinerator or something. Nasagot ko ba, Michelle?
Yes po, Doc. Yes po.
Okay. Sige. May question pa? Okay. So far, clear na tayo sana sa case control study.
Yes po, Doc.
Alam na kung kailan pwedeng gamitin yung yung case control study.
Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige. So next is the cohort study design. So cohort study design, this is design comparing individuals with known risk factor or exposure with others without risk factor or exposure. Pag cohort, lagi tayong nakatingin dyan, nagsisimula tayo with the exposure. Exposure versus non-exposure. And yung identification or yung development ng disease, titingnan natin forward in time. Okay, so a cohort is any group of individuals who share the same characteristics. So selection of subjects start with identifying individuals who have similar characteristic or presence or absence of particular cause or exposure. So they are then divided into two groups, those with the characteristics or causes and those without the characteristic. Or sino yung tawag nito, sino yung na-expose and sino yung hindi na-expose. And they are then observed forward in time and determine who among them developed the outcome or the effect. So cohort studies, again, pwede siyang maging prospective and retrospective depending on the manner of patient recruitment. So prospective, so observe patient before developing the outcome. So ito, real time, may mga follow-up tayo. Isa ring term sa prospective cohort, tawag din dito, kung nakakabasa kayo ng mga journals, ay longitudinal study design. May nabasa na ba kayo nung nag-EEBM kayo?
Yes, Doc. Meron po.
Nakakita kayo. Ang study design nila is longitudinal na study design. Ano lang siya, ibig sabihin lang nun, prospective cohort siya. Longitudinal kasi forward in time pa-forward yung and matagal. Okay? So retrospective, investigators go back in time to identify a group that was initially exposed and study the incidence of their exposure. Ito, best example nito is chart review. Pero nag-chart review tayo, hindi yung outcome yung titingnan natin. nag-chart review tayo kung presence or absence of the exposure. For example, gusto nating ma-identify, tawag nito, kung paggamit ba ng vape ay nagkukos ng cardiac problem. So hindi tayo titingin, hindi tayo mag-chart review ng nagkaroon ng sakit sa puso. Ang hahanapin natin sa chart is sino yung mga vape user, sino yung mga non-vape user. Tapos titingnan ngayon natin sila. Okay? Anong nangyari sa vape user? Anong nangyari sa non-vape user? Ito bang mga vape user na to? May sakit sa puso? Ilan dito ang may sakit sa puso? Ilan ang walang sakit sa puso? Sa non-vape user, ilan ang may sakit sa puso? Ilan ang walang sakit sa puso? Nakuha, naintindihan? Pag retrospective pag case control study, we identify cases and control. Yung outcome ititingnan natin. Then questionnaire. Hindi tayo nag-chart review. Nakuha ba? Nasundan?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So cohort study, this is the best or strongest observational study design when there is good evidence of association between exposure and disease. Dito, sa cohort study, hindi na ginagamit lang natin yung odds ratio. Odds ratio is used to determine yung prognostic factor. Nag-iiba-iba yung term ng odds ratio. For cohort studies, ang odds ratio is used for prognostic factors. Kasi for risk factors, ang ginagamit natin ay relative risk, RR. We can now compute for the RR. Okay? Pag case control studies naman, ang odds ratio, ibig sabihin ng odds ratio doon ay estimated relative risk. Pag nakakita kayo ng odds ratio naman sa cross-sectional study design, usually, this is prevalence ratio. So, in short, very vague term yung odds ratio. Kailangan yung basahin talaga paano kinompute yung odds ratio. Nakuha?
Noted, Doc.
Okay. Yan, advantage again. Valuable when exposure is rare. Examines multiple outcomes of single exposure. So dito, sa cohort, ang pwede nating makita is multiple outcome. Okay? Pag pag case control naman, gusto makakita na tayo is ma-identify yung multiple risk factors or multiple variables associated with the outcome. Kaya siya true retrospective. Cohort, forward-looking. Exposure, ano yung mga possible outcomes na meron siya. Okay, so temporal relationship is known, allow direct measurement of risk and minimize bias in ascertainment of exposure. Disadvantage, again, this is expensive kasi may follow-up and time-consuming. Inefficient for rare disease and disease with long latency, yung mga mahabang sakit or yung development ng sakit. For example, TB, cancer. So, malaking resources yung kailangan ninyo. And loss to follow-up is a problem. Yan. So, in short, for observational study design, ito yung best representation. Okay? For case control, we start with the outcome and we identify the factors associated with the outcome. Isang outcome, multiple factors ang pwede natin ma-identify. For cohort, we have prospective and retrospective cohort. Nakikita natin arrow ay papunta sa future. For prospective cohort, present, then we observe through time, development ng outcome. Retrospective cohort, nagsisimula pa rin tayo sa exposure at titingnan natin from present. Ano yung outcome nila? Again, we identify chart review. Ang hinahanap natin, presence or absence of exposure. And anong nangyari sa kanila? One exposure, pwedeng multiple outcome. Cross-sectional, again, it traverse or cross-section of the population at a single point in time. Kaya siya paganyan. Okay? Clear ba? Mas naintindihan na yung ano? Yung difference ng cross-sectional, case control at saka cohort.
Yes po, Doc.
Yes, Doc. Clear, Doc.
But
Thank
may
you, Doc.
clarification na ako dun sa difference sa case control at saka sa cross-sectional. For example, ba, yung mga may lung cancer versus those without lung cancer in a hospital setting. Tapos, identify yung mga risk kung may smoking or may history of lung cancer in the family. Kailan siya nagiging case control at kailan siya nagiging cross-section?
Okay. Pag pinag-uusapan natin, ang initial is lung cancer. Presence of lung cancer, absence of lung cancer. Ano ba yon? Outcome na siya, di ba? So gusto nating malaman ano ba yung mga factors or variables or risk factors associated with the development of the disease. So sa tingin mo, ano siya? Case control or cohort? Exposure ba yung ano? Exposure ba
Case
yung
control.
cancer? Case control. Okay, very good. Kasi nagsimula ka with the outcome. And naghahanap ka ng mga multiple factors associated with the development of the disease. Pero for example, kung ang nagsimula ka naman, gusto mong malaman, smoker, non-smoker, magde-develop ba siya ng lung cancer or hindi? Or with family history or without family history ng lung cancer? Magde-develop ba siya ng lung cancer or hindi? That is cohort yung gagawin natin. Kung chart
Paano naman siya yung cross-sectional?
Okay, pag cross-sectional, gusto nating malaman yung ano, association ng mga ano, factors associated with the development of lung cancer. Okay? So maghahanap ka, ang population mo is lung cancer. So people with lung cancer, then magbibigay ka ng survey. Okay, identify mo yung mga factors na gusto mong itanong kung associated ba. Then, pa-question ka. Based ngayon doon sa cross-sectional, kung descriptive lang, kung gusto mong descriptive, gaano kataas yung proportion ng male na may lung cancer compare sa female. Gusto mong malaman gaano kataas yung proportion ng smoker na may lung cancer versus sa non-smoker. That is descriptive. Kung analytical naman, gusto nating makita, may significant difference ba yung sex, male or female, in the development of lung cancer? For example, nakita natin mas mataas ang lung smoker sa male. So there's significant difference between male and female in the development of lung cancer. So assumption natin, there is possible association between sex in the development of lung cancer. Or next, ano naman, smoker. Nakita natin na mas mataas ang proportion ng smoker sa mas mataas yung proportion ng smoker versus non-smoker sa population na may lung cancer. Then sa descriptive, describe mo lang siya as is. Kung analytical naman, there's significant difference between smoker and non-smoker among individual or participants with lung cancer. So assumption ngayon natin doon, there's possible association between smoking and lung cancer. Pero which is which, hindi natin alam kung sino bang nauna. Lung cancer ba or yung pag-smoke? Na-associate lang natin siya sa sa case control. Nakuha ba? Nasundan?
It's not. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, sige. Sa iba, may question.
May question
Yes.
po ako, Doc. Doc,
Okay.
for example lang, yung exposure na na-identify is yun nga, workers, for example, working in yung mga incinerator plants. Meron yung exposed, which is yung within the vicinity, and then yung control siguro yung mga within 50 meters to 100 meters. Pwede ba yung i-assess or i-anong data din is how much, kung kailan nag-run yung machine doc, tapos i-ask kung nagde-develop ng symptoms yung workers. Parang ganun po, Doc. For cohort po, na retro.
Okay. So, pag magko-cohort kayo na gusto mong malaman yung effect ng yung duration ng incinerator or exposure sa incinerator. So, dapat kailangan nyo ma-identify gaano kabilis ba nagde-develop yung disease or ano ba yung
Opo,
symptoms
Doc.
na gusto nyo ma-identify. Pag ganon, maghahanap ka ngayon, sino yung may ganitong more than 5 hours na exposed sa incinerator, tapos yung non-exposure mo naman, less than 5 hours yung exposure sa incinerator. Then, observe mo through time. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, sino magde-develop ng certain symptoms. Then, that is cohort. Kung ano naman siya, kung case control study naman, so identify mo na yung disease. Okay? So, sino yung nag-develop na itong disease na to or symptoms na to with symptoms and without symptoms. Then, i-check mo ngayon siya. Gagawa ka ng questionnaire, titignan mo gaano katagal yung exposure ninyo. Tatanungin mo yung mga individuals. Then, identify mo, may association ba yung duration ng exposure sa incinerator with the development of the disease. That is for the case control. That is for the case control study. For cross-sectional naman, lahat ng mga individual lahat ng mga individual na exposed sa incinerator, tatanungin mo gaano katagal yung exposure nila, nandun na sa questionnaire kung nag-develop pa sila ng disease, then analyze mo yung data.
Noted po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay? So nakikita niyo yung difference ng tatlo kung paano siya kino-conduct. Pag cross-sectional, simple question. Lahat ng mga participants mo may exposure or nagtatrabaho sa certain area. Tapos bigay ka ng isang question. Pag case control, first you identify presence or absence of disease or symptoms, then bigay ka ng questionnaire. Pag pag cohort naman, either you identify the exposure, then observe ninyo, nag-develop ba siya ng outcome or hindi. Okay? Nakuha ba, Michelle?
Yes po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay, sige, Jel.
Doc, question lang po yung ano ko din sa study na gagawin ko sana, Doc. Since, Doc, magko-cohort po kasi na ako, Doc. So, yung exposure ko niyan, Doc, is yung traditional po, tsaka practice-based na residency. And then yung outcome would be the development of depression, anxiety, and stress, Doc. Kailangan ko ba, Doc, sila pong i-follow up in time? Or like, pwedeng at one point lang ako magko-conduct ng survey, Doc?
Okay. Pag ganyan kasi, for example, identify ka, kung cohort ka, ano bang gusto mo? Retrospective or prospective? Kasi mahirap pag prospective cohort, di natin alam kung gaano katagal ba yung development ng depression sa mga resident. Di ba?
Opo,
So,
Doc.
kung retrospective naman, first identify mo, yun, alam mo na. Sila, tawag nito, under sila ng traditional, under sila ng practice-based. Then, magtatanong ka ngayon sa kanila. Bigay ka ng question ng questionnaire. Okay? So, pag nagbigay ka ng questionnaire na depression form or kung may history ba sila ng depression, then, retrospective cohort siya.
Okay, Doc. So, at one time ko lang siya, Doc, i-conduct, no, Doc?
One time.
Tapos,
Or, kung gusto mo naman, kung nahihirapan ka sa ganon, pwede mo ngayong i-identify, mag-case control study ka naman. First, identify mo sino sa mga residents ang nag-develop ng depression during residency training. With depression, without depression, then bibigay ka rin ng questionnaire. Okay, so bigay ka ng mga other factors na possible causes ng depression, tapos kasama doon kung traditional ba sila or practice-based.
No, noted, Doc.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's either retrospective cohort or pwede kang
Discussion.
case control.
Okay, Doc. Thank you po, Doc.
Okay, sige. So for my question pa about cohort. Wala na? Okay. Sige, next. So far clear na tayo sa observational.
Yes, Doc. Clear naman
May
tayo.
nalilito pa.
Clear, Doc.
Okay. Ito, simplihan na lang natin. Experimental study design. Very common na experimental study design ay RCT at saka quasi-experimental. So kaya siya tinawag na experimental study design kasi there is manipulation of exposure or variables to the cause to establish its relationship and outcome. Okay? So dito, namamanipulate natin yung mga variables. So gusto natin as much as possible ma-minimize yung effect ng mga variable, okay, na gusto natin na isa lang. For RCT, gusto natin na yung intervention, yung outcome na nakuha natin ay dahil lang sa intervention itself. Kaya tayo nagko-conduct ng randomization para ma-eliminate natin yung other effect ng variables sa outcome natin. So we have RCT, quasi-experimental, natural experiment, and crossover. So mag-focus na lang ako sa RCT saka sa quasi-experimental. So for RCT, this is well-designed and most well-known experimental design. Again, this is gold standard study design. Siya yung strongest and most robust. Subjects are randomly assigned into treatment or comparison group. So this is the best form of design in testing causal hypothesis. Bakit best form? Kasi we eliminate as much as possible yung mga bias. And sa RCT, dapat sure tayo na yung outcome ay dahil lang dun sa test na inaano natin. Either experimental or control. This provides the most convincing evidence. Okay? So the quality of the study can be achieved through, first, para maging successful yung RCT, kailangan dapat ng randomization. So random allocation of subject to treatment or control group to avoid bias and increase confidence in results. Presence of blinding para ma-eliminate yung observation bias and pwede tayong gumamit ng placebo as a blinding procedure. So if RCT comes up with new evidence, it overrule any older result that have been produced by weaker type of study design. So, ibig sabihin nun, once na merong bagong findings based on RCT, mas fina-follow natin yung outcome ng RCT compare sa cohort, case control, or cross-sectional study design. Disadvantage, again, mahal. Kasi, pag may nangyari sa participants, kailangan dapat managot ng researcher. Okay? Sila yung gagastos. Not appropriate to answer certain type of question. Okay? Ang RCT or experimental, ito naman yung tinatawag ko na special type of cohort study. Similar siya with cohort study pero ang focus ng RCT ay intervention. Okay? So, kung saan na ano natin, tawag nito, nakokontrol natin yung effect ng intervention. Okay? Dati, pwede kang mag-randomized control trial ng mga risk, ng mga prognostic factor, kaya lang dahil sa presence ng ethics, okay? So, medical ethics or research ethics, so intervention na lang. Something beneficial na lang yung pwede nating magawan ng RCT. Hindi na tayo pwedeng mag-RCT na mag-expose ka ng magkoconduct ka ng study yung isang group, bibigyan mo ng sigarilyo, yung another group, di mo bibigyan ng sigarilyo, tapos observe mo through time. Okay, tatanggalin mo, eliminate mo yung other variable. So, hindi na pwede yon kasi that is unethical. So, dati nung wala pang mga tawag neto, Tuskegee principle, yung about medical ethics, so pwede siyang gawin. Ginagawa yun, yung ino-observe nila ano nangyari sa mga may syphilis. Ngayon, unethical na siya. So, beneficial na lang. Kaya intervention, treatment, usually na yung RCT natin. May be unethical in assigning person in particular treatment or comparison when intervention has well-known benefit. Okay? So, di ba lagi natin kino-compare, ang comparator natin is standard treatment. Kasi hindi dapat tayo pwedeng mag-compare kung sa tingin natin na mas less beneficial para sa participants. Okay? So, quasi-experimental, not true experimental research kasi walang randomization. So, things that happen by themselves. Anong very common dyan? So, usually dyan, ito yung mga ginagawa natin sa community. Okay? So, experimental study design, pwedeng effect ng Tai Chi on joint pains ng elderly. Di ba? So, may mga group of elderly, initial, assess natin, kamusta yung pain score nila. Tapos, after conducting Tai Chi, observe ulit natin, nag-improve ba yung joint pains nila. So, walang randomization doon. Pero, in-observe natin yung effect ng intervention. So, usually, ginagawa yan sa mga community intervention. So, often conducted to evaluate effectiveness of treatment. Okay. Sorry, excuse lang ha. Okay, so common kinds of quasi-experimental, non-equivalent group design or pre-test post-test. So very common yung pre-test post-test, yan na yung sinabi ko na ano, yung before intervention and after intervention na test. Okay, non-equivalent. So usually, certain group wala na siyang ano, wala siyang randomization na nangyari. Anong example niyan? For example, gusto nating malaman, sino ba ang mas magandang performance sa national exam? Practice-based or traditional? Okay? Pwede ba tayong magano? Pwede ba nating i-randomize yung mga residente into practice-based and traditional? Yes or no?
No po.
No po, Doc.
Hindi na kasi 'di ba nandun na sila. So, yan yung non-equivalent group design. So, ibig sabihin nun, kung nasa ang group ka na naka-assign, kunwari practice-based ka, tapos kunwari ano ka, traditional ka, so pwede nating i-observe sino kaya yung mas better yung ano performance sa national exam. Practice-based or non-practice or traditional. So, hindi tayo makapag-conduct ng randomization process kaya siya quasi-experimental. Okay? So, yun lang siya. Yan. Crossover, nice to know lang yan. So, crossover, ito yung from isang group. Ang comparator natin dito is the participants itself. For example, yung isang participant, iti-take niya yung treatment A, then after a certain time, observe ano yung outcome nun. Tapos magkakaroon ka ng parang window period or flashing period. Tatanggalin yung effect ng ano ng previous intervention tapos magte-take ka naman ng treatment B. Observe mo ano naman yung effect sa nun. So parang ganun yung crossover study. Ayan. So meron tayong washout period para lang matanggal yung effect. Tapos ang comparator mo doon, sarili mo lang. Okay? Participants themselves lang din yung ano nila, pinagko-comparean. Ayan. So, nice to know secondary study designs, ano lang, systematic review meta-analysis. So, different, dapat alam na nyo na yan or pwede tayo magkaroon ng, ng different discussion dito sa, sa EBM ng systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay? So, for my question ba about sa mga study designs?
Dok, parang wala naman right now po.
Okay,
So,
sige.
yun
Ano
naman.
na lang yung mga learnings or bago nyong natutunan dito sa sa discussion natin ng mga study designs.
Sorry, may
Siguro,
question ako about
may
crossover.
question.
Dun
Sige,
sa
sino mauna?
crossover ba,
Marvin.
magsi-switch lang sila, Doc? Or parang may i-randomize mo pa rin sila dun sa pag meron ka na after ng wash-off period?
Ay, sorry, ano yan? Question ba yan, Marvin?
Yes po, Doc.
Okay.
Or
So,
crossover.
sa crossover, tawag na ito, ang kino-compare natin sila pa rin sa sarili nila. So, ibig sabihin nun, yung participant will experience treatment A and treatment B. Okay? So, pwedeng randomize kung sinong mauuna yung sinong mauuna na i-compare niya. Pero hindi siya true randomization. Randomization lang siya kung sinong mauuna na treatment. So, in effect, may experience yung dalawa tapos i-compare natin kamusta yung yung chine-check natin sa effect ng dalawang intervention. Tapos yung washout period kasi ginagawa yung washout period para matanggal yung effect ng previous intervention. Dapat totally wala na yung intervention na yun dun sa sa katawan before we initiate yung another intervention. Pero ang comparator natin doon, hindi natin siya kino-compare with other group, kino-compare natin siya sa same na population or same individual, same person. Nasagot ko ba yung yung tanong mo, Marvin? Tapos ito, kay Jel, what if pag crossover po natin yung traditional
Dok, joke lang yun. Sorry po.
sige, baka pwede naman. Ayun, so yun, mahirap yung yung mga certain comparator, yung pag mga ganun, hindi natin siya magagawa. For example, certain group na hindi tayo makapag-randomize, automatic quasi-experimental siya. Okay? Sige. Pero usually hindi rin natin ginagawa yung 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 crossover kasi una mahirap siya ma-identify ay mahirap gawa ng ng star design kasi hindi natin alam, mahirap mag-compare kasi ano ba yung gusto natin doon? Weight loss. Kung may nag-weight loss na siya sa una, paano mo pa siya i-compare sa another intervention ng pangalawa? Or kung pwedeng subjective lang, so medyo hindi common yung pag-conduct ng ng crossover. Sige, may question pa ba? Ano na lang, learnings. Ano yung learnings yan natutunan nyo sa sa discussion natin ng different study designs?
Pero Doc, ako na muna mag-start, Doc.
Sige din.
Yung sa akin, Doc, yung regarding sa odds ratio, Doc, tsaka having parang different names ng odds ratio, na pwede siyang maging prevalence ratio, ganyan. And parang dun sa case control, parang hindi dapat ginagamit yung odds ratio. Parang dapat iba yung terms na ginagamit. And yun nga, sa estimated risk din, Doc, parang mga iba sa nagsinulat ko kanina. Pero yung estimated risk din, Doc, parang kung paano siya dapat kukuha. Use ng RCT, ganyan, tsaka kailan siya nagamit din for cohort. Yun lang naman, Doc. So, mas clear, Doc, yung yung pagka-discuss, Doc, nung image, Doc, regarding dun sa factors saka outcome. So, parang mas naliniwagan ako dun, Doc. So, okay, gets. And then kung kailan papasok yung cross-sectional with regards to variables. Yun po sa akin.
Okay. Sige, thank you, Neji. So, yung yung odds ratio, hindi natin siya madalas dapat nakikita sa cross-sectional. Okay, so kung may makikita kayong ganun, although kasi pag nagbasa kayo ng mga ibang study designs, yung term na ginagamit nila is odds ratio. Kailan lang ma-identify, hindi siya true odds ratio, usually prevalence ratio siya. Okay. Sige. Others?
Ako, Doc.
Sige, Pao.
Oh. Doc, sa akin, Doc, siguro na-highlight lang kasi yung sa research design, na-highlight siguro yung importance, Doc, na dapat alam mo talaga yung kung ano yung gusto mong gawin dun sa research mo. Yung purpose and yung goal. Kasi yun yung magdidictate kung anong klase ng research design. Kasi yung initially, Doc, parang medyo nalilito ko kung anong gagamitin. Pero yung na-discuss nyo po siya, parang mas clear kung paano ka magpo-proceed dun sa next step po.
Okay. Sige. So, very important dapat talaga. Una, 'di ba? Nagsisimula tayo with your research question. Then papasok is ano ba yung objective? Ano ba yung purpose ng study ninyo? Kasi once na identify niyo yung purpose and study, doon na kasi mas magiging clear ano bang mas better na study design yung pwede nating gawin. Okay? Gusto ba nating malaman yung mga factors? Gusto ba natin malaman yung outcome? May gusto ba tayo i-compare? Okay, mas focus ba tayo sa intervention? Then may certain study design na mas appropriate. So, ganun. Okay, sige, thank you, Pao.
Ako, Doc. Doc, yung akin, yun nga, gaya ng sabi nyo, dapat alam mo talaga yung gagamitin mong design. Like yung akin, Doc, kaya pala ako nahirapan. Di ba yun sa, tawag dito, RCT supposed to be. Kasi nga ang goal ko, gusto ko sana yung pinakamataas na hierarchy ng study para maganda sana yung design. Kaya doon sa yung kanina yung sinabi nyo na RCT, yung kasalanan mo, ethical and the like. Kaya hindi pala nag-work yung study ko at that time, Doc. Kaya yun mas ayun Doc, parang nadi-differentiate, mas clear kung kailan mo gagamitin talaga yung mga design. Like for example, ngayon, kunyari yung mga rare disease, case control pala ang better or kung yung pang follow up yung sa cohort, yun Doc. Kaya mukhang magpapalit ako ng study ko Doc. Ayun.
Okay. Actually, maganda yung study mo.
Doc!
Maganda pag RCT, ano siya, tawag nito, pwede ka ng pilot study lang para mas onting sample size. Saka hindi ganun kagastos.
Doc, magastos nga, di ba?
Oo. Ano pa lang magastos na eh. Kaya mag-pilot study ka na lang. Ano ka lang, pipili ka lang ng few participants. So parang ano ka lang, parang ila-launch mo lang yung ano, yung product, 'di ba? Product 'yun eh, 'di ba? Or yung
Doc, actually, Doc, nag-prepare ako ng 3 study. Doc, nag-message ako, hindi ka nag-reply. Pero
ay
Doc,
sorry.
pinacheck ko kay Doc Josie, may pinili siyang isang study from doon sa RCT kasi na hypertension sa call center, Doc. Parang mas gusto na lang niya i-study ko yung booklet kung mas effective ba siya sa follow-up ng mga sa OPD. Pero Doc, check mo na lang yung message ko.
Oh, sorry. Pag more than 2 days or 3 days hindi ako nakapag-reply, pa-message na lang ako kasi baka natatabunan ng mga ibang mga messages. Lalo na kung nag-message kayo before convention.
Before
Sorry,
kung
sobrang hectic ng schedule last month. Pag hindi ako nakapag-reply, tawag nito, i-ano nyo lang, message lang ulit kayo. Hanggat hindi ako nag-okay or nag-thumbs up or message nyo lang. Sorry. Ibig sabihin na natabunan yung message ninyo.
Okay po, Doc. Sige
Sige.
po.
Pasend na lang ulit, Ma'am. Sorry.
Sige po, Doc.
Sige, others.
Sa akin, Doc, dito sa lecture na to, medyo ang laking clarity dun sa yung odds ratio being a vague term na yung sobrang mas malinaw na yung prevalence ratio sa mga cross-sectional and then yung parang estimated relative risk of yung odd ratio kapag case control and then yung odds ratio is for prognosis sa ano. Dati kasi even sa mga theoretical na mga exam, nakakalitong sagutin yun kasi parang di rin naman namin gets masyado yung terms. So ngayon, in terms of that, parang pag tinanong siya even in EBM exams or research exams, medyo mas gets na namin kung bakit paano gamitin yung odds ratio or yung um, anong ibig niya sabihin depending on the type of research. Ayun, Doc. So, thank you po.
Okay. So, since sasayin mo yung exam, required pala akong magpa-exam sa inyo. So, kailan nyo gustong mag-exam ng research?
Ako
Next
may
week.
kasalanan tuloy ako doon.
Next week, Doc, para fresh pa.
Sige, magana
Yun
tayo.
ako kailan free nyo, Doc.
exam tayo. Ano lang naman, concept at saka computation. Um, try natin ng second week ng May.
Okay po, Doc. Second
Okay.
week of May.
Doc.
Friday
Sige.
rin, Doc. May
May ano ba yan?
May 8 po, Doc.
May 8.
Po, Doc. Okay lang po, Doc.
Oo.
Lagyan na lang
Siguro
sa
20
calendar.
items na concept at saka 20 items na computation lang.
Okay.
Protocol passing din yata natin yun, Doc.
Mm-mm.
Sige po.
Ano na lang, tawag nito.
Computation.
Oh, short lang naman yung magiging quiz natin.
Sige po, Doc. Lagyan sa calendar.
Buti na paalala ni Poch.
Ala, Doc, sisisihin ako naman. Papako ko sa
Okay, sige. Sino ni next?
Ako na lang po, Doc. Thank you, Doc, para sa session na to kasi talaga may tendency po kami na parang ang dami naming gustong malaman. Pero I think malaking tulong po yung like yung na-mention ni Doc Pao, ano ba talaga yung gusto naming malaman. At the same time, parang na-realize ko na you can't like possibly do a lot of things na in certain timelines, lalo na po before kayo makagraduate. So, i-ensure ko po na yung sa protocol, Doc, na feasible yung methodology and malaking tulong po yung session na to, Doc. To ma-refresh kami yung differences ng different ng mga methodologies at the same time para fit din po sa research question namin. Thank you, Doc.
Okay, sige. So lagi yung tatandaan, wag kayong masyadong nakafocus sa masyadong madaming gusto yung ma-accomplish sa research. Okay, ang important sa research is ano ba yung focus ng study ninyo? Ano yung gusto nyong pagbigyan ng gustong i-highlight? Okay? So, mas simple, mas madali siyang ma-discuss, mas madali siyang ma-explain, mas better. Okay? So, yun naman yung goal natin eh. Kasi pag masyadong madami kayong gustong ma-accomplish, ah malilito talaga kayo sa pag-conduct ng research niyo. Okay, sige. Thank you, Mitch. Sige, sino ang
Doc,
next?
ako na lang po next. Parang similar po kay Doc Pao tsaka kay Doc Mafi na kailangan mo talagang pag-isipan Doc, kung ano yung best na study dun sa mga variables na gusto mong pag-aaralan. Kasi Doc, for example, kahit gusto mo ng higher order na study, kung hindi naman din po pasok dun yung ginagawa mo or yung resources na available sa'yo para ma-achieve yung ganong level ng study, then hindi rin siya mag-work out. Yun po, Doc. Thank you.
Yeah, so kaya dapat alam niyo kung ano yung talagang may mas appropriate na study design. So mahirap ipilit yung study design na hindi naman din tugma sa goals and objectives ng research ninyo. Okay, sige. Thank you, Jel. Sino pa ba?
Sige, ikaw na, CJ.
Doc, first of all, yun lang din po, katulad po nun sa ibang co-residents ko po, na thank you po dun sa na-review and refresh kami dun sa nakakalitong concepts, especially po sa case control versus cohort and cross-sectional na lagi pong lumalabas sa mga exams. Tapos parang laging din namin, parang nakakalituhan po kung kailan sila gagamitin or ano yung hinahanap. Pero yun po, mas naging clear naman po kanina. Tapos po regarding po dun sa na-realize ko din po, yung kasing pong sa research ko po is cross-sectional. Eto the question pala to. If ever po ba, like, during, habang ginagawa yung research, pwede ko po ba siyang parang makita na, pwede pala siya din maging analytical to check the associations po dun sa makita kong results? Or, parang descriptive lang ba siya all throughout? Or pwede po silang dalawa?
Anong research question mo?
Yung sa Doc, yung KAP po ng Family Medicine Residents on Family Planning.
Okay. So, with regards sa KAP, usually descriptive siya, pero kung may gusto kang i-compare, for example, kung gusto mong i-compare in terms of different levels ng year level ng resident na nag-answer. First year, second year, third year, baka may magkakaibang magkakaiba yung knowledge, attitude, perception nila. Then, na siya, analytical na siya kasi may comparison pa eh. So baka makita mo doon, per year level, nag-iiba pala yung knowledge, nag-iiba pala yung nila, yung attitude, saka yung nila, perception or practices nila. So, pinaka-safe, baka mas maganda na ka na lang, mag-analytical.
Analytical. Pati Doc,
Kasi,
ever practice-based versus traditional na
yes,
program.
pwede rin.
Yung
May
associate.
compare ka na, baka may difference din.
Okay.
Kasi pag descriptive lang, purely lang siya, frequency proportion, describe mo lang, 90, tawag nito, 90, for example, 98% maganda ang knowledge on,
Knowledge on family planning.
family
Pero
planning.
sa practice po, medyo kulang, parang ganun.
Oo, ganun. So, baka kulang, baka insufficient yung magiging discussion mo. So, sa tingin ko, mas maganda is ka na lang, analytical na cross-sectional study design.
Okay po, Doc. Sige po. Thank you po, Doc.
Saka tuturuan ko kayo, tawag nito, once nakapag-gather kayo ng data, tuturuan ko kayo on how you will analyze yung sarili niyong data. Tuturuan kayo gumamit ng Jamovi. So, pwede naman na pwede kayong kumuha ng statistician, i-compare niyo yung outcome ninyo, or pwedeng kayo na lang din yung mag-check. I-counter check ko naman kung kung magpa-fabricate kayo or tawag nito, magdo-doctor kayo ng data. So, may kita naman yun. Kasi ipe-present nyo naman sa akin yung data ninyo. So, at least, magkaroon kayo ng idea. Pag nagpunta kayo ng mga future studies, kaya nyo mag-analyze ng sarili ninyong studied research. Saka, maswerte na kayo kasi madami ng mga tools na pwedeng magamit free. Hindi lang katulad dati na SPSS lang, may bayad ka. Ganun. Sige.
Ako na po atang
Okay, sorry.
ako na atang last. Ayun, Doc. Actually, itong lecture na to na parang several times ko na rin na-attendan na iba-iba po yung nag-discuss. Pero with this lecture, Doc, na-appreciate ko lang din po yung simplicity, Doc. Medyo iba po yung atake nyo kasi sa pagle-lecture, Doc. So, I think, ako kasi, Doc, ewan ko kung ako lang, weakness ko talaga yung research ever since nung pre-med. So ito, Doc, na-appreciate ko yung paano po yung parang sinimplify niyo po yung discussion. Tapos, Doc, siguro yung learning ko, i-apply ko na rin kasi while listening to your lecture, Doc, parang back of my mind, Doc, yung research ko. Sabi ko, saan ko ba i-apply? So, ayun, Doc, siguro doon ko na rin i-base yung learning ko. Sa akin, Doc, yung association between family APGAR score and HD adherence in end-stage renal disease. So, nung dinidiscuss nyo, Doc, yung mga observational, sa akin, Doc, mukhang analytical cross-sectional study din po. So, based sa lecture nyo, Doc, nalaman ko na sa cross-sectional, more likely ang linulok natin yung association, not causation. So, parang sa akin, mukhang for me, parang ito yung best study design. Tapos, Doc, yung na-appreciate ko rin po yung diagram, yung may arrows po ng mga observational. So, na-summarize po yung tatlong study designs. Minsan kasi napapagbaliktad ko rin siya. So, with the representation of the arrows, Doc, kayo na quick understanding for me po, Doc. Ayun po, Doc. Thank you po.
Okay, sige, thank you. So, tawag nito. Kung initial pa lang naman yung study mo, pwedeng cross-sectional. Pero kung gusto mo talagang tawag nito, kung may na-identify ka na good quality of life, poor quality of life, so pwede kasi nga sa outcome yun pwede kang mag-case control. Pero baka sufficient na nga rin na ka na lang muna, analytical cross-sectional.
Yes po. Doc, sorry Doc, may ask lang ako, Doc. Previously, Doc, in-advise siya na mag-APGAR 1 and 2 ako. Doon sa APGAR 2, Doc, ano kasi siya, parang subjective questionnaire siya, Doc. So, iniisip ko, paano ko po i-interpret collectively yung result pag ganun, Doc?
Okay.
Kasi
So yung
sentence po siya. Oh,
okay. Yung Apgar 2 kasi, tawag nito, para lang mas magkaroon ka ng more context, parang mas magiging mixed ka. Mixed study design. So, quali-quanti. Para mas magkaroon ka ng mas more in-depth na discussion. Pero, depende naman sa iyo kung kung gusto mong mag-Apgar 2. Kung sufficient na sa iyo yung Apgar 1, okay lang naman.
okay. Okay, Doc.
So, mas nagbibigay kasi ng context pag naging mix.
Okay.
Kung sufficient naman na, okay lang na na purely quantitative ka na lang.
Okay po, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Okay. Sige. So for may mga questions, clarification.
None so
Sige.
far.
For next week, sorry. Wala
Labor
pala,
Day pa, Doc.
Holiday
wala
po.
wala tayong activity next week, May 1. Aral na lang kayo for the exam. Pero magbibigay ako ng assignment. Nabigay ko na ba yung sa
CAS po, Doc.
CAS tool. So try nyo na lang sagutin 'yon, tapos prepare na lang for the long quiz. Okay, tapos May 8, long quiz tayo. Then after nun, please prepare siguro for mag-sample size computation tayo. Ang pinaka-important for cross-sectional study design, ang pinaka-important doon is prevalence. Gusto ko makita ano yung prevalence ng mga, kung meron kayong disease burden for CKD, ano yung prevalence ng CKD? Total number ng patients na nakikita ninyo. Okay? So, para at least magkaroon tayo ng idea ng proportion, kung ilan yung sample size na i-compute natin. Kung case control cohort, kailangan kong odds ratio ng factors na gusto ninyong i-identify. Okay, for example, sino bang may case control ba sa inyo? Or cohort studies?
Ako, Doc, ano pa po? I-decide ko pa, Doc, kung case control po or cohort.
Okay, sige. Sa'yo, Jel, identify mo, siguro kung wala kang makikitang study ng ng odds ratio ng ng tawag nito, odds ratio ng family medicine residency training with depression or burden ba yun? Tama ba? Ano ba yung gusto mong malaman?
Yes, Doc. Depression. Anxiety.
Depression. Okay, so siguro mag-identify ka ng ano yung prevalence ng prevalence ng depression sa sa healthcare workers or sa doctors para ma-compute natin yung sample size.
Noted, Doc. Thank you po.
Okay. Yung kay math, sorry, kung RCT ka, map or pilot study, tingnan na lang natin. Pag pilot study, hindi mo na kailangan mag-compute ng sample size. May cohort pa ba? Wala na. Lahat na is cross-sectional.
Our majority daw cross-sectional.
Majority cross-sectional. Okay, sige. Tapos, sorry, Pau, pa-inform na lang din si Jero, mag-set kayo ng meeting sa akin. Try natin tapusin yung research ninyo.
Yes po, Doc. Sige po. Sabihan ko din po si Doc.
Okay. Ka na ba? Nakapag-present ka na ba ng proposal?
Doc, hindi pa po, Doc. Ayusin ko, Doc. Tapos present ko po sa inyo, Doc.
Okay, para ang goal natin is makapag-present na kayo ng proposal at makapag-submit na kayo ng sa ethics ni Jero.
Sige po,
Si
Doc.
Neji kasi tapos ka na ng ethics, di ba, Neji?
Yes po, Doc. Nag-ano na ako ngayon. Nasa refinement ng survey tool na ako, Doc. Kakasend ko lang sa panel, Doc, nung
Okay.
survey na.
Sige, so after naman yan, ka na, data collection ka
Data
na.
collection, yes po, Doc.
Sige, so ang goal is dapat makagraduate yung mga seniors this year. Okay? Sige. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Ay, Doc, okay lang po mag-picture, Doc, for
Ay, sure.
documentation sa pang-ACRED lang namin, Doc.
Okay, sige.
Thank you, Doc. Pao, pwede pa photo ulit. Sorry. Thank you, Pao.
Doc, sige. Doc, okay lang makiki-flash lang nung title slide niyo po, Doc.
Ay,
Okay,
sorry. Naka-share na ba?
Yes, Doc, pero nandun tayo sa last slide po yung yan na, Doc.
Ayan, okay na?
Ayan, Doc. Okay po. Thank you po. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Doc.
Okay,
you
thank you.
po.
Sige, good
Thank you
afternoon.
po,
Bye-bye po.
Doc.
Doc.